So I get asked or told all the time, hey, if Teflon is so bad, why is it still available in stores? Hi, I'm Jed, this is COOKWARE. Thanks for being here. I wanted to talk for a sec about the effects of non-stick cookware and what the chemicals that make Teflon really mean to your cookware. So there are very, very few studies, long-term studies that are done on the effect of the non-stick within your cookware. The ones that have been done that are not really that rigorous do prove in those studies that there really isn't much of a short-term effect to using Teflon or the chemicals that make up Teflon or the like to your health. And so, everything's gone, right? The pans keep getting sold and everything is just fine. Where we're at in 2023 is that there is a clear understanding from the research and the science that has proven beyond the shadow of a doubt that making of the concentrate formula of the chemicals that go into all different types of things, non-stick pans happen to be one of the things, are truly detrimental to health. They directly cause cancer. They directly cause birth defects. This is an absolute fact. I will put the research and study links in the bottom of this video. And that is clear. There's no doubt that if you were to consume the chemicals that go in to create the non-stick formula in non-stick pans, they are carcinogenic. They are cancer causing. They cause birth defects to people that consume them and then have children, and birth defects happen. And that has been clearly proven on both sides from research, but specifically from the industry. Industry studies have shown that this has happened and for decades and decades and decades. And there's just absolutely no doubt about this. However, it's inconclusive when it comes to all the way down the food chain to a pan. So that's why pans are available. Old legislation, old restrictions, they allow these things to happen. Only just now is it becoming crystal clear that upstream that there's a massive problem. And in the consumables of all of the different chemicals in the world, these chemicals that are carcinogenic are now in almost every single living human on the planet. And that is a problem because nobody really knows the long-term study except that they know that the short term is that these are carcinogenic and cause birth defects, but what is the accumulative effect of this over time? And that is where things are starting to change. So in Canada, and especially in the US, the governments are really looking at legislation on how it's going to restrict the use of these chemicals. My industry is freaking out a little bit. There is quite a bit of video and reading online from my industry that talks around how to understand this, that there really should be an argument that this actually is fine and needed for things like aerospace and military applications. And because of that, it should still be able to be used in pans and pots and like bakeware and that sort of thing, which personally I find a very weak argument. I don't know any reason from selling cookware for over 30 years why you'd have to have a non-stick pan, bakeware, cookware, a waffle iron, anything. I don't know, there's no one example I've ever found that's like, oh right, you have to have non-stick. It's replaceable in every single way. Aerospace and military, I don't know, maybe there's no way to get around that. Fair enough, we may never get rid of the chemicals, but the reality is that is very clear is that the chemicals that are made to make cookware are toxic in concentration. So if it's diluted, it's in your pan, does it hurt you? Nobody really knows. Okay, so that's set. So what's happening here? Legislation is coming. Governments are trying to understand what the impacts are. They're trying to get a good understanding, especially here in Canada. There's a study going on right now in front of our parliament, that's our Canadian government, to understand the impacts of reducing or limiting the use of these chemicals. It's going to come, but what form is it going to end up taking? How heavy is the housewares industry going to lobby and other industries that are affected by this? How heavy they're going to lobby and what's this going to turn into? Nobody really knows right now. But there's a heavy chance, a fairly high probability that the way in which we know cookware today, going into any hardware store or department store and seeing, racks and racks of nonstick cookware could change. Down in the States, there are examples where they're having to label cookware that says what is in the pan and what the effects of those pans' ingredients could be. And so that's where we're at. So that's how this all works. This is where this plays out, is that the chemicals are known to be bad. The chemicals are in everybody. There's more and more chemicals being made. This can be an issue. So what do? We stop using nonstick cookware, simply. There's no need for it. I've proven on this channel, I'm pretty sure without a shadow of a doubt, that there is nothing to be cooked that can't be made in stainless steel, carbon steel, or cast iron. And so why do we need nonstick? Why does somebody have to go into a store and buy a nonstick pan? To be blunt, it's laziness. I find people, when they talk to me and they're like, I want a solution to buying a nonstick. I talked about all of them. We look at them. Oh, I've got to season it. I got to do this. I got to do that. I don't know if I can do that. The translation is, I don't want to do that. I find that that's not important to me, and I don't care enough to really figure out why this should be important to me, and I'm just going to continue doing what I'm doing. And fair enough, there's lots of people that, drive recklessly and smoke cigarettes and do all the things. So like, is that one pan going to be the thing to kill you? No, it's not. But is this one of those small things that we could easily change in our life that makes the world a better place? Absolutely. Can everybody use a carbon steel or cast iron pan or a stainless steel pan effectively? Absolutely. Every single person can. And they can use it exactly the way they want it to behave, almost like that nonstick pan that they had. And they'll be happy. They just have to put that effort into it. So this is where we get to the part of you. My challenge is, you probably have these conversations. You're watching this video because you enjoy cast iron and carbon steel. And I hope that I was able to give you a little bit more information of the evils of nonstick and really what that chemical is doing to us, that it, and the known understanding of this chemical. And that when somebody brings up to you, oh, hey, carbon steel, cast iron, it's hard, blah, 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 instead of being like, oh, okay, fair, that's you, this is me, maybe that's a little bit more information for you to be like, hey, tell me why aren't you able to use it? Let me help you, let me understand. Hey, maybe I'll share a video with you. And through that sharing of information, hopefully we can all help more people move towards cast iron and carbon steel and making that little change in the world that hopefully can add to something larger. So if I can be of any more help to you, please leave any comments or questions below. I'm always at your service. Thanks so much.